going on, Sam's Club fans? And in today's video, we're going to be trying out the $1 Sonic cake versus the $100 Mario cake. Let's dig in. No, but in all seriousness, this is a bit of a two-cake situation, quite literally, because Sonic fans, Mario fans have been comparing the Sonic franchise and its renders to the Mario franchise and its renders that we've been getting as of late. You know, what you saw on the thumbnail that you clicked on, that's what they've been comparing, going head-to-head, toe-to-toe on. And yeah, basically people are saying this is Sonic, this is Mario, and I don't stand for that, so I'm gonna make this video for you guys here today. And the only real way to fully get a good grasp on the whole subject matter of why this is even happening, what's the root cause of the Sonic versus Mario render discussion debate, is to go back to the beginning of both Sonic and Mario's renders, and that's what we'll be doing here today. Let's go ahead and start off with some classic Sonic renders. And when I say classic Sonic renders, I don't mean that classic Sonic Santiago. I'm talking about that classic Sonic Adventure 1 art style, because this is the first game that puts Sonic into the 3D space, and I know that other thing happened, but we are not talking about that because that hurt my ears. But once Sonic Adventure 1 hit the GameCube and that DX Director's Cut, we got our first look at these amazing looking renders. You know, we've had the 2D artwork in the original base game, and these renders here, it's gonna be hard, you know, to be honest, for you to find someone that's gonna disagree and say that these renders are nasty, because these renders look amazing, and that's been made even more evident by this amazing fan animation by Lix's prototype, bringing this render style into the modern day, because look at how many views that got. I even did a video covering this because that's how much I love this style of Sonic. And in this renders that we have here, we started off with a bang, I'm not gonna lie.
Moving on to the flip side, around the same time, in the late 90s, we had Mario 64, Mario's first 3D outing also. And I really like how these renders came out, and they give a real similar feel to the Sonic Adventure renders from that era, but I mean, it makes sense, you know, the CGI and the render technology around this time is really just starting to boom and blossom. And since this era is the beginning of 3D renders for both Mario and Sonic, I feel like they had more of a desire, more of a push to be creative with the renders, poses, and lighting, and it really does show. But moving on back to the Sonic side of things, and in the early 2000s, we got the sequel to Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, and the funny thing is that for this game, we didn't really get a lot of 3D renders because we mostly got these beautifully drawn 2D rendered artwork, and of course, all this artwork is just purely iconic, and of course that's all thanks to Yuji Uekawa and everyone on the Sonic art team, and I think we can all agree that the renders around this era are truly amazing. But going back over to the Mario side of things, Nintendo just released Super Mario Sunshine, their next big 3D sandbox Mario game, and holy crap man, where did these renders come from? Because the renders here, the quality jump is insane for just about like a 6-year time gap. But these renders really hit close to home to me because I feel like this little era of renders for Mario, Nintendo was really trying to make Mario seem like a cool guy. You know, he had a cool personality, like just by these poses alone, he really gave off a cool vibe. And that really resonated with me because that's kind of Sonic's whole shtick, and I feel like Mario does kind of slightly lose this going on onto his next era that we'll get to in a bit. So although Mario and Sonic had two different approaches to renders in this era, I think that both of them pulled these off really well. Moving on back to the Sonic side of things though, we do get Sonic Heroes and we go back to the 3D renders, and these renders in the game in itself kind of gave Sonic a more like kind of cutesy looking vibe while still having a bit of what makes Sonic Sonic.
And what makes Sonic Sonic, you might ask? It's that edge, that speed, that raw coolness factor that these early renders really encapsulate, and that I kind of think, you know, once we get to the future part of this video, that's what people are nitpicking on and making fun of this guy. In the next couple of years of Sonic history though, it was a little bit weird because we got our first introduction to basically, you know, the new modern Sonic style that we all know and love. Well, I mean, I love him. The fact that we still have this style of Sonic from 2005, that's kind of crazy. Wait, I've literally been on this planet Earth longer than this style of Sonic has been around. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing we'll touch back on in a second, but the next year we did get Sonic 06, and this was a very different jump visually and gameplay too, because yeah, this game is a little buggy.
What is happening? Help! What is he doing?
And in this game, Sonic's proportions make him look very edgy, lanky, droopy, But honestly, I really think it does fit this, edgy PS2 era of games. Even though it's released on the PS3, just this whole era, rock, throw in scary rock music and let's go save the world. Yeah, I really think this design encapsulated that. But the gameplay clearly did not. But we've all heard that story a million times, so I won't bore you with that. But that honestly might be the beginning canon event, I guess you could say, as to this whole two cakes render dilemma. Moving on to the following year though, we got the development spin-off game Sonic and the Secret Rings, and my god, say what you want about the gameplay, the controls, I'm pretty sure this game did good, I think, but the renders for this game, chef's freaking kiss. And I know I did say that it's crazy how we've had this style of Sonic for 20 years, but like when the guy started off, he started off so strong with this, like it's no wonder that GameStop still has those billboards on the side of the building with this render of Sonic on there. It's just that good. And I really think it's this era of Sonic renders that really pushed the quality of the franchise up a million notches, not even just in the gameplay, but in the renders too. The gameplay for the upcoming games were honestly pretty fire. Unleashed, Generations, it gets pretty good. But if we're just looking at the quality in the renders alone, the textures here are really top notch, and the lighting and reflections on these renders look just so vivid. It literally looks like something you would see on those Best Buy display TVs. It looks that good.
If this is what Sonic renders taste like, that's amazing.
But let's go ahead and Nintendo switch things up and see what Mario was doing around this time. I'm about to cry. Super Mario Galaxy came out, and this was my childhood Mario game growing up, so of course there's going to be some bias here, but I think, again, it's really funny to see the parallels between similar eras of Sonic and Mario renders because they're kind of evolving at the same time so far, at least. Just like the Unleashed and Wii spin-off renders, the lighting here is just top-notch quality, and it really does give Mario like an almost cinematic feel. And honestly, this might be the bias speaking through me, but I think these renders are possibly some of Mario's greatest renders, if not the best.
And then next year, funny enough, both paths collide when Mario and Sonic combine forces to play Olympics? Yeah, these make for fun party games, but the renders that we get in all the future installments too are honestly super fun and top notch, and it just makes me a little sad to see the Mario community and the Sonic community and even just Sonic fans hating on Sonic itself when literally both Mario and Sonic are like best buds, and like the team ups here, these renders are beautiful. This is what we should be doing, guys. And I know and I would hope that most of this debate is just, rage bait, I guess as they would say, but it's literally, how can the two video game characters, join forces and just be peaceful? But we can't.
But after celebrating the Olympics, we get Sonic the Hedgehog 4, and yeah, I have no words for this thing. This is basically the first sneak peek at mundane Sonic the Hedgehog, bland slate Sonic the Hedgehog, a Sonic the Hedgehog that's been sanitized for the corporate greed. And that kind of hurts to say because realistically there's nothing wrong with this Sonic, but the way Sonic looks here just looks like he was ripped out of a style guide or something. And that's but a few exceptions like the Sonic racing games, Generations, and even Sonic Colors. The evident quality drop in lighting, posing, that coolness factor that we talked about earlier with Sonic, doesn't really pick back up until Sonic Lost World in 2013. So what is that? Like a 3-year gap? But this kind of sanitation around this era isn't just limited to Sonic, because around the same time frame, I believe in 2009, a year before Sonic 4, we get New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And I know we all played that game, and that game is a whole lot of fun, but you can see here, this is the start of the same sort of sanitization, the modern minimalistic mascot design that we get here in this game with Mario. And although I do like how it looks, you can obviously tell a lot of the dynamic poses are literally been stripped away. Like, what is this Mario pose? He's literally just standing there. And again, this Mario situation is very similar to Sonic's situation because there is a few exceptions during this era. The Mario Galaxy 2 renders go back to that classic lighting that I think looks really cinematic and beautiful. And the 3D Land renders aren't even that bad, even though if they do scale back on quality a little. But it's not until 2013 that Mario really does pick up steam again with the renders, in my opinion, with Super Mario 3D World. And it's just kind of funny because 2013, a brand new Mario game released instead of a brand new Sonic game, and they both kind of get things back on track. But going back on over to Sonic, their next big game was, what is this? A cartoon? And in 2017, we did get a brand new Sonic game and a brand new Mario game again. It's just kind of funny how they both keep following each other. They're literally best buddies. But we got Sonic Forces, and say what you want about that game, but you can clearly see they're making an initiative again here on the renders and giving some of these that old cinematic lighting that I really did love from the mid-2000s era of Sonic and Mario renders. Well, besides this one. And it's really only uphill from here for Sonic's renders because the quality just keeps going up. With the Sonic Forces Speed Battle mobile game having some of the best renders in the franchise's history, Sonic Frontiers and Shadow Generations really pushing the renders even further and giving us back those really high-end quality Unleashed-esque renders. And as for what Mario was doing around this time, they kind of gave Mario a brand new facelift here, with Odyssey and a whole bunch of stock renders that do uplift the whole entire cast also, and this looks really amazing. But it is this stock image here of the whole Mario cast getting brand new renders that really does ignite the flames of disaster. Because Sonic's little full cast render stock artwork here hasn't received an update since whenever the heck this image came out. I don't even know when this came out. And it's kind of evidence, just, you know, putting the two side by side, it's just a whole two cake situation. Like, not even trying to be mean, the Sonic one just looks like, you know, the stock artwork you see like on the toys on the shelf. While the Mario ones, it doesn't look like that at all. The Mario stock renders have been uplifted to that premium, you know, game render quality. And I feel like, although it's not necessary for Sonic to do that, of course, we've literally been with the same model of Sonic for 20 years, it would just give the Sonic brand a higher quality feeling overall. And especially, I think this might be kind of critical if Sega really does want to, you know, fulfill their one little quote of them surpassing Mario over the next coming years. But if the rumors are true about this next Sonic Frontiers game and what's going on for the 35th anniversary of Sonic, thanks to the success of Sonic Frontiers in the movies, the next game might be the highest quality Sonic game we've gotten since Sonic Unleashed. And I know that sounds kind of sad because that's an old game now, but the progress we've been seeing is clearly evident in literally the last Sonic game we got last year, Shadow Generations. So I'm very hopeful that the day where Sega and Sonic surpass Mario is coming up soon.
But now that we've had an extensive look at what both sides have to offer, I can kind of see what they mean by the whole two cake situation. But honestly, having two cakes is great. You know, it's better than one. Even if, you know, one cake might not be as consistent or as high quality, you know, every time. They have a couple misses in the ballpark. There's still a pretty nice looking cake there, you know. And look, this cake will even give you a freaking ring. So, you know, I did want to kind of poke fun at that, and I wrote a little message maybe on the cake. I don't know if you can see that there. Nintendo does what Sega don't. Alright, so what did we learn from all that? Sonic has amazing renders, and Sonic solos Mario. That's why we're going to be destroying this Mario cake. Oh, there was actually some icing on it. That's why I did that. But Sega does what Nintendo don't, bro. Okay, I'm not screaming for some reason. I know this is... I don't really destroy things. I'm just kidding. Oh, give me that cake. Oh, Mario, I hate you, Mario. Oh my god, I feel bad doing this, Mario. Okay, but in all seriousness, I think the perfect way to end this video is just to actually, you know, have a nice little bite of this cake here. Show you guys what this cake looks like in the inside. And this is disgusting, but look at that, bro. This Mario cake is so nice, gooey, buttercream on the inside. Okay, this is literally just a big cupcake. So at the end of the day, excuse me for this mess, y'all. Sonic and Mario, they're the same thing. They're both freaking peak. I think we can all agree on that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh my god. Sorry guys, this is becoming a disgusting mess. I tried picking up one of these other cupcakes over here. I don't even know if you guys can see it. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. But I do want to know in the comments down below, what team do you side on? Team Sonic with his little cupcake, or Team Mario with his $100 Mario cupcake? Honestly, both sides are amazing. I love both, you know, because at the end of the day, look at them. They all come together to make one beautiful mess, and that's what we should be doing, you know. We shouldn't be fighting against each other. Both renders are amazing. But if you do enjoy the video, leaving a like and sharing the video with all your friends and subscribing helps out a lot. Yeah, thank you for everything, man. You guys have made this video possible. I'll see you guys in the next one.